Hi there, Elizabeth Bailey from the podcast Powerful Women Off the Record. Recently, I was able to spend some time with Sonia Ashford, who owns and operates the Ashford Insurance Group, as well as the owner of Shayla Holdings Group, which focuses on mergers and acquisitions. And I've known Shayla for a little bit, and she has this quiet power about her. And I was really looking forward to just talking off the record about how she's maintained that energy, that authenticity, that strength while juggling a career and a family and staying fresh and staying relevant. And a lot of the things she said has really stuck with me, and that's what I wanted to talk about tonight. So um if you want to catch the podcast with Sonia, it's going to be the one before this. And then this is kind of my plan to then, I don't know, just take a few minutes. And now that I've digested what our conversation was and the things that kind of stuck with me, and maybe they'll stick with you too. I really don't know. But, Sonia really made some really great points about taking care of yourself and keeping your skill sets sharp. And a lot of it is about staying sovereign, staying financially sovereign and then, physically sovereign. And that takes a little effort, right? Taking care of yourself, keeping your skills relevant. Because, I do think there's times, like I know a lot of women that when one of those broke down, they became very vulnerable and had to rely on people that maybe they didn't really want to have to rely on. And so, sometimes we go, 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 and we're forgetting the long game, which the long game is to stay healthy and to stay strong and to stay relevant. And that not only helps protect us to stay sovereign, but it helps everyone around us, right? And I think that is a trap that as women we have to be careful. The overgiving idea and thinking, that we don't leave really much left in the gas tank for ourselves. We just give, give, give. That is not a long-term strategy for ourselves or for the people around us. And so if anything that came out from our conversation is, she was really loud and clear about how important it is, and self-care is not optional. It's not an extra. And I really hope we can change the narrative around that because I think as women, we need to be able to recharge, right? We're not running on testosterone. We are running on different fuel in our body. And we have to learn about that and we have to honor that and realize that we do need to step away. And if we don't, the body keeps score and it's going to make you step away. So, I really enjoyed our conversation about that. I find it fascinating how, when you really start thinking about yourself and maybe what motivated you or what power you've drawn on, sometimes there is that relative or that ancestor or that person, probably maybe a woman that kind of pops in your mind. And Sonia was talking about her great grandmother who came over to America not speaking English and created a retreat center, and that she uses that as fuel when she's tired, and knowing that great grandmother, that woman, I mean, what a spitfire to be able to do that. How hard that must have been. But, she found the strength to do it and the energy. And I think what was so critical is it's because, her great grandmother wanted to. It was a passion of hers. And so, when you're living your passion, it's a lot easier to find that deep well of energy and perseverance. And so I think it was really cool how, Sonia mentioned the female ancestor and how much that impacted her life today. And then, some current women in her life that maybe they don't even know how much, they impact us, whether it's our moms or our daughters or our mother-in-laws or just a woman that, truly and authentically supports us, right? There's no competition. There's no judgment. There's no secret rooting to fail. It's just a clean, authentic acceptance of who you are, and really, like, a cheerleader, really somebody that is honestly rooting for you. Because let's face it, we all know we've all had people in our life who maybe we thought were rooting for us or said they were rooting for us, but we could just kind of feel it in our bones that there was still like a running tension of competition. So, um, Sonia really made me think a lot about that and how important it is that we do take care of our daughters and teach our daughters and be role models for our daughters in a lot of different ways in life. And also, though, the women around us, the other women that we can raise up, the other women that we can be a sounding board for. It's just so important that we keep that circle going, right? Like somebody was there for us. And it's really important that we don't forget to also then be that for somebody else. And I mean, when I think of the power of that, when I think of when women come together and, lock arms, how incredibly powerful that is, like it's just unstoppable. And I think we need to do more of that. Definitely need to do more of it. The other thing that I've been thinking a lot about too is having a creative outlet. As women, sometimes we forget we have the power of creation. We are the species that, of the species, we are the creator of the species. And that comes through with our children and our family, but it also comes through with our projects and our passions. And I think that's another thing that is not optional. And I think it's really important that we find an outlet for that creativity that fills us up, that keeps the juices going. And it can be, when I used to hear the word, a creative endeavor, and, I definitely came from, a left brain career of accounting and finance and investments and M&A. And it seemed like an extra, the creative piece was an extra, or, maybe I would try to find it in something I was doing in that career. And sometimes it worked, but often it didn't. And then we had, you may have children, and obviously then you have these beautiful creations that you want to guide and love and support and protect. And we focus a lot of our energy there. But the next phase that comes is we're still a creator, right? And we need an avenue to create. And I'm never going to forget that again. I'll be honest with you. I think I've been pretty good lately, and it doesn't really matter what that is. It can be, something that Sonia mentioned with her quilting. I know, I've heard things all over the board that is just a method of a woman being able to be still, in an environment where she can get lost in something that she loves. It's normally creating something, probably has some colors involved or music or sound. And that's our integration time. I think it's a lot bigger than we realize. I think it's a lot more important than we realize. And yes, it's beautiful when it's done and we have a creation that we can look at, but the process itself, I don't think we should underestimate. And I wish I would have allowed myself to do more of that over the years, because I think it would have really helped fuel me and feed my fire more. Because as women, we have fire inside of us. We have the kundalini, we have that energy that is so powerful, but we have to feed it. And that's kind of what this podcast is going to be about. Is I'm talking to these women that I admire and I respect, and there's something about them, and they're probably doing things on the daily that they're not even realizing they're doing that is keeping them moving forward and keeping that fire and avoiding burnout. Because I think burnout is really common in women, and I think it's time we learn more about it, we talked more about it, and we found ways to avoid it. For the women that haven't experienced it yet, let's help them avoid it. So I think that whole remembering we are a creatrix, I love that word, by the way, is so, so important, and finding an outlet for it as often as you can, and what is work-life balance? It's nothing that really can be quantified. You find it on your own. It might not be daily, it might not be weekly, it might not even be quarterly, but you find that balance. But this is a little different, where I think we got to find it more often. And it could be as simple as, sitting down and quilting for your family or somebody in need. It could be journaling. It could be a vision board to keep you on track. There's all different ways. And that's what we're going to explore in this time together with these amazing women that I feel so blessed to know, and so blessed that they're giving some of their time to this project. So again, I want to thank Sonia Ashford so much for taking the time to let me pick her brain a little bit, to share some of her best practices and secrets. And I hope you enjoy the interview with her. I know I did. I think she's an amazing woman. And let me know in the comments what, if it triggered anything in you, and if it made you think a little bit differently, like it made me. Thanks again, Sonia. I appreciate you.